Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. So tomorrow we are going on a road trip with this car, the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E. It's our first road trip since we got this car back in January, and we are finally taking on its first road trip now in April. So we're going to have a fantastic time going from here in South Carolina all the way over to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee is where we are staying for a nice 4-day vacation to get away from things for a little bit. And so we are going this week, or actually I should say we're going tomorrow, which is Wednesday, right before Easter. So we're going to be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to have a fantastic time, and then we will be driving back on Easter. So let's go ahead and take a look at how that trip is going to look. Car is looking good as we just got it cleaned up this morning, ready for the long road trip ahead of us. Well, actually not too long. It's about 400-mile trip. We got the car charging up over our Electrify America Level 2 home charger. Let's get in the car real quick and take a look at how things are going to go. So right now I have two trips set up in here to go through two different ways, of one being through Charlotte, which would be like the northern side of things, or one going through Columbia, which would be going through the southern side of things. I haven't really decided which way I want to go yet. I might try to run them both tomorrow morning after the car is charged up and ready to go, and then we'll see what it tells me. We're looking at basically, let's see here, based off of where we're currently at. So we're at 62% state of charge, 153 mile range. We're going to charge the car up to 80% today, and then tomorrow we're going to be, well, as soon as I wake up, I'll go ahead and hit the button to charge it up to 100%. But anyway, let's hit the go button here. And we are calculating. EV chargers are being added to the trip. Right there, that's our current location, and basically the map that it's routing out, which you can see is one stop there, which I believe is in Florence, South Carolina, another stop there, which is in Charlotte, and then another stop there. But anyway, what we need to see here is whether or not we can make this in just 2 stops as opposed to 3 stops. So right now it's suggesting if we were to leave right now, we would get to the first charger at 33%, but that's assuming that we're leaving at 62%. So that means it would only take us about 30% to get to that first charger. And then if we leave there with 54%, we would be getting to the next charger at 10. So I'm thinking we could probably do this first route on one charge. 176 miles looks like that's what they're estimating, considering this one is 132 miles, and it says we could do that in 65% to 10%, so 55%. I don't really see a problem if we get this car up to, let's say 90% before we leave. Then I see no reason why we couldn't do this in one trip. So I think we're going to try to do that, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning, wait to see how this looks, and then we'll let that do the calculations from there. So, or maybe I'll look at it tonight after we hit 80%, because that might give us a better idea. But anyway, overall, it looks like it's estimating 9 hours, 20 minutes for the full trip. That's with charging stops included. So if I could get rid of one of these charging stops, I believe we could probably do this in about 9 hours flat. It's 400 miles, as you can see, or 399. And then this would be our southern route option, which would be going straight across right here, stopping in Florence again, but going westbound, hitting Columbia, and then going up here, what is this? Oh, it's Asheville. So it's Asheville, North Carolina is where that charger is located. So that would be a slightly shorter route, 391 miles, 8 hours and 20 minutes. So it is assuming that is the shorter of the two, which I think we're going to do this, but we'll have to see how it looks tomorrow morning. Once again, we're looking at about 154 miles if we were to go this way, which should be a little bit easier on our battery if we were to do that. So I think we might actually do something like that instead. This is a longer trip, though, from here to here. As you can see, it's 147 miles. So that is going to be pretty long on this battery. It says 71 to 10. So that's going to be 61% battery, it estimates. But this is all basing it off of right now. So tomorrow might be different based on temperature and based on the traffic. I assume it takes this all into consideration, but I could be completely wrong about that. But we'll see what happens, so we'll go ahead and update you tomorrow as we get that far. So as the car charges up, you can hear the cooling fans in the front of the Mach-E kicking in, and these grates open up to allow some air to be pulled through them, so this way it can help air cool down the battery system in this car, which is really, really cool to see. And I'm really excited about this trip because, as you may have seen on the last road trip we took with the Ioniq, that was a lot of planning that had to go into that. It was, well, let me go ahead and use a better route planner and use that to plan out the whole trip. And that was a much longer trip, obviously. And with that car being such a small battery, it takes a lot more planning to go where you need to go. But with this car, it seems like it's a little bit more easy, simplified. The built-in navigation seems to be pretty good. And we're going to test it on this trip to see how well it does. Is the built-in navigation going to be accurate as far as the percentages in which that you're going to be reaching your destination? Does it account elevation changes? Does it account for temperature? Does it account for traffic? It has the ability to do all of those, but does it have the ability to put that into the algorithm for actually planning out your trip? And so I'm really interested to see how that works with this vehicle. And as soon as this gets up to 80% tonight, I'm going to come back out and I'm going to take a look at it, because that first leg is about 170 miles or so. And I'm curious to see if in that 170 miles, if it will allow this car with a fully charged battery or close to fully charged battery to actually allow me to go that full distance, or if it's going to want me to stop earlier as a just in case. And so I'm really curious to see how it calculates that out, especially tonight. And then I'm going to charge it up to 80% tonight. That's the goal. And then tomorrow morning, as soon as I wake up, I'm going to go ahead and hit that start charging button again. And I'm going to let it charge up as much as it can before we are ready to go and basically take off for our trip. So we're going to have a couple different ways of looking at the maps to see how it gets mapped out versus 80% tonight. And tomorrow, let's say at 85, 90, maybe even 95%, depending on how long it takes for us to get ready in the morning and get out. So I'm excited to see that. But let's reconvene back at the car at a little after 4 o'clock, I think it was saying, for the battery to be at 80%, and see if anything changes on the navigation for tomorrow's trip. All right, well, the car has been charged up to 80%. As you can see, it's projecting 202 miles of range now. And now this is recalculated it out to 2 charging stops for this 400 mile or almost 400 mile trip. So as we can see, it's going to let us stop in the Electrify America, which I believe is in Columbia, South Carolina, and the Sam's Club, which is out in Asheville, North Carolina, before getting to our destination with about 14%. So I'll probably overcharge a little bit here, or not overcharge, but charge up a little bit more than 51% there. So this way we get to where we need to be with a little bit more than just 14%, because there's not any really fast chargers around that area in Pigeon Forge. We'd have to drive about 10 miles out of our way. But anyway, we are extremely excited for this trip. I'm really excited to finally get this car out on a road trip, and I'm waiting to see how well it performs. Will it do what it calculates out as far as its range? Will it exceed that? This being a rear-wheel drive, smaller battery version, this car should perform pretty well, and as far as I've heard, it does very well at about highway speeds, exceeding the EPA rating for this car. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if that's true and how it will work in this situation. Now, the other thing is we are going from pretty low elevation here, only about 20 some feet above sea level, and we're going to be going up higher into elevation as we get closer to Tennessee. So we are going to be going up elevation. So coming home is actually going to be a lot easier. We'll only have 2 stops again, but we probably won't be needing as much energy on the way home. So that'll be kind of interesting to see as well. But anyway, at this point, we are pretty much done for the day. We're going to pack up the car, get it ready, and then we'll see you in the morning when we're rolling out. All right, well, here we are heading out for the beginning of our trip. Our first stop is going to be about 153 miles according to this if we go to that route. We are leaving with 86% state of charge. I just reset my trip odometer so we know what our miles per kilowatt hour will be. So it's saying about 3 hours for the first leg, 25% arrival based on what we have here. But anyway, here we go. We are heading out and we'll see you at the first charger. All right, well, checking in, we are about 35 miles into this trip. We are still getting over 4 miles per kilowatt hour. We are estimating 185 miles of range left and 112 miles to the charger. So looks like we're doing pretty well here. We're not on any major highways as of yet. Right now we haven't really gone above 60 miles an hour, and now we're in a construction zone here, so I'm going to slow down even more. But so far so good. We're having a good time, nice and quiet, the car, and yeah, we'll check in with you a little bit. So just a quick update as we are driving. We have hit 52% state of charge. We have 56 miles till our charge in Colombia. So we just hit hands-free mode, which is the first time we've seen this. We were actually on pretty much back roads this whole time. So it's a little interesting to see that we are now officially in hands-free, which is really cool. Oh, nope, it just bounced out of hands-free mode. All right, well, that was short-lived, but maybe it'll happen again once we get past this this bridge here. But anyway, current efficiency's looking pretty good. We are 91.5 miles into this trip. Our efficiency is 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour, so really good. We haven't needed to use the climate control at all yet, just due to the fact that it's only 70, just hit 70 degrees outside, so it's finally starting to warm up a little bit. But other than that, we are doing pretty well and cruising along. All right, in Columbia, South Carolina, just went past the Capitol. It's pretty cool. We are pulling up to the Walmart, go figure. And we are...
In 1/4 mile, arrive at Electrify America, Walmart, on the right.
Okay, so we are pulling up right now. Let's take a look at our state of charge when we get there. All right, made it to the Columbia charger with 31% state of charge. Let's look at our efficiency. 145.5 miles at 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. We used a little bit of climate control on the way here. It was actually still pretty cool, but it is now up to 76 degrees. So we did a pretty good timing here on the way to this trip. So let's go ahead now and take a look if our plug-in charge will work, since we have plug-in charge with this vehicle. 250 kilowatts hours of free charging from Ford. So let's take a look at that. All right, just pulling up to the Electrify America station here in Columbia, South Carolina. Now we should be able to plug in charge according to Ford. Oh, hold on. All right, so we are plugged in. Let's see if this actually works the first time. Connecting the vehicle. Processing payment. Awesome. Payment authorized. That's a good start. Initiating charging. I'm hearing things clicking on the car, so it looks like it's going. Welcome driver, Mustang Mach-E. 250 kilowatt hour Ford Pass charging, or per minute equivalent. All right, well, there we go. Let's take a look at our speeds as we ramp up here. 6 kilowatts, 7, 8, shows that we are at 30% state of charge. 16, 18, yep, here we go. Now we're starting to ramp up. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We're past the Ionic. 120, oh. And that's where it looks like we're going to be sitting for a little bit. It may ramp up a little bit more in a little bit, but 117, 118 kilowatts, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So we'll take that, we'll check on it in a little bit and see if it improves at all. So funny enough, the second we pulled in, of course, we get a lot of attention from people taking pictures of the car because they've never seen a Mach-E before. And of course, I get asked by an ID4 owner if they like the car, and or if I like the car, and I said, of course I do. And they said they enjoy their ID4 very much so. But we finally got some healthy lunch here, and are gonna go sit by the car for a few minutes while we charge up. All right, well, as we can see here, we hit 80% and just immediately hit the wall. 8 kilowatts. We're almost as slow as what we would be doing charging at home. But anyway, it looks like we put about 38 kilowatts into the battery. We're showing over 80% state of charge now, which is plenty for us to get to the next stop. We only been here 40 minutes. It says it feels like a lot less than that. But we're going to head on back and go somewhere else now. Go to, I believe it's Asheville, North Carolina is our next stop. Huh. That's all you got to do. There we go. Flip this up. Close the door. Ready to rock and roll. All right, so just left the Columbia charger with about 82% or so of battery. We are heading to Asheville, North Carolina, which is saying about 146 miles distance. We have about 220 miles estimated range based on the guessometer here. We have hands-free driving finally activating for more than a mile at a time, which is nice. We are currently at about 330 feet elevation. So this is where things are going to get interesting, because Asheville is going to be a higher elevation than here in Columbia, and then from there to Pigeon Forge will be an even higher elevation, I imagine. But we'll see and report that when we get to the next charger. In the meantime, it looks like it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. We're just kind of on the highway. I'm letting the car kind of do all the work, and we'll check back in with you soon. All right, just a quick update. We're in the beginning of the second part of the trip here. So we are on Highway 26 westbound. The car is recognizing this as a Blue Cruise hands-free mode, and it's been doing this for quite a while now. It seems to be taking it pretty good. I mean, even back when we had some construction zones where the lanes were shifted, it actually did a really good job of negotiating the shifts by itself without actually pushing it out of Blue Cruise. There's been a couple little things where it's knocked itself out of Blue Cruise just because I guess it wasn't sure about certain things, but overall it's been doing a really good job. I feel like it's keeping a pretty stable, straight path here in between the two lines. How do you feel as a passenger? How do you feel like it's doing?
I think it's doing pretty good.
Is it good? Does it feel like it's not a human driving, or does it feel pretty natural?
Mostly natural. There's a little, like you said, it would like come out of it, and a little shaky here and there. I'm not sure if it's the wind or if it's...
Yeah, there's a little bit of wind out here today, and I feel the car kind of shifting a little bit to the left and the right, but overall I think it's doing a pretty good job of keeping the car going forward and in between the lines, and it's pretty confident in doing that, so I'm pretty happy. So we'll keep going, and we got another 124 miles to the next charger, so just about 2 hours from now we're going to be before we get to the Asheville, North Carolina charger. and we're gonna keep cruising. So we'll see you at the charger. How could you drive any better than this? We are on hands-free. Well, it's going to yell at me because I'm not staring at the road. I am staring at the road. We are on Blue Cruise hands-free mode. Yep, I see the debris. And we are just cruising along right now. We got our destination set for the next charger in 56 miles. And we'll be in Asheville, North Carolina, so we are doing just fine. We're averaging 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour since our last stop in Columbia, South Carolina. But this is just fantastic. You just watch the wheel do all the work. Make sure you keep your eyes on the road. And this is a cruiser. This car is awesome. See you at the charger. As the low battery warning comes up on the dashboard because we just hit under 50 miles. We have a 11 mile till we get there and 21% battery projected remaining. Now the curious thing is that when we got to the charger in Columbia, it's recommended that we only need to charge to 70%, which we charged up to about 82, 83, I think it was. So we're curious to see, is this mean that we're going to get there with at least a 13% buffer? It looks like it, but we'll see when we get there. All right, made it just fine to the Sam's Club here in Asheville, North Carolina with an 18% buffer. So, I mean, they were saying about 13% less than what we left with, which means that would have brought it down to about a 5% buffer getting here. That's a little close to my opinion, but that's all right. It says we still had a 43-mile buffer left in the battery, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and charge up. 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour is what we got on that last leg, and we are now at 2,000 feet of elevation, which means we still got to go up just a little bit more, but overall we're doing pretty good. So let's go ahead and plug the car in and see how we do. Just plugged in at about 18% state of charge, and we are only getting about 104 kilowatts. I don't know if you can see that. It glares kind of bad, but about 104 kilowatts right now. Plug-in charge work excellent like it's supposed to. So we're going to head and we're going to walk around inside for a little bit, and we'll see if this gets any better as it gets higher. But we're going to probably charge up to, I don't know, probably about 80% again, and that should get us where we need to go. So as we can see here now, we've been here for a total of about 40% charge. We are still only getting low 80 kilowatts on the charge. For some reason, it has not gone up any higher than that 82, 83, 84 kilowatts. Been here almost 20 minutes already on this charge. So a little weird. Maybe the chargers are a little bit derated right now for some reason. Who knows? But we're going to be here a little longer, obviously, to get this car up to around 80% or so for our next leg of the trip. Well, unfortunately, the story doesn't get much better here. We are sitting at 79% state of charge, and we are already down to 60 kilowatts. And that's not as expected. It's supposed to be about 100, 120 kilowatts in the beginning of this charge, especially from such a low state of charge at 18%. But we didn't see anything above 85, 86. So that's weird. But we're going to hit 80%, and then we're just going to get right back on the road anyway. Well, shortly after pulling in, there was a Porsche Taycan here charging up themselves. They left shortly after we got here, and after that, this red Mustang Mach-E pulled in, and turns out it was a person from Electrek who was doing an article on this road trip that they are doing. So they're borrowing this car for this road trip from here to, I think they said somewhere in Georgia or something. So I'm looking forward to seeing that article. But anyway, we're going to head on to the rest of the trip now. We have about 90 miles to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So here we go. We are now on this pretty twisty turn back road right now. We are really just having fun with the car. Just put it into corners and just
And I have it on cruise control. Literally, I just have it set up for 55 miles an hour, and we're just going into these turns, and this car is handling so well. And this is a lot of fun right now. We're catching up to traffic, unfortunately. Oops, school bus. But yeah, this is a ton of fun. This car handles so well. I'm glad to get to drive it on a road like this, because we don't really have too many roads like this by where we live. But that was a ton of fun. We are still about an hour and a half from our destination in Pigeon Forge, so about 63 miles it says. So we got a little bit longer left, but we'll check back in with you in a little bit. Caught up to those motorcycles. Here's some fun roads on the west side of North Carolina here. Really, really windy and changes in elevation. Every single turn you have a change in elevation. It's just dipping and turning and really, really wide turns. And I'm following this pack of motorcycles still, and they're having a grand old time going around these turns. It's a lot of fun for them. But I'm keeping right up with them in this electric vehicle here, having a lot of fun along the way. Laughing at me. Gaining speed going up this hill here, gaining on the motorcycles. All right, now we got the top of a mountain, 2,200 feet in elevation. Now we are heading back down the mountain here, cruising with these motorcycles. Yeah, you can tell they're having fun. Probably going to gain some percentage here on our battery. Yeah, we just did 69% now. Wouldn't be surprised if we hit 70 by the bottom of this hill right here. But anyway, I had a lot of fun going down. Oh, we hit 70%, so we actually just gained about 3% going down that mountain there. We're below 1,500, probably going to be below 1,400 in just a minute here. But that was so cool. All right, we'll catch up with you later. So I took the car out of one pedal drive for a little bit. So I have it now in L mode, which is a little bit extra regen. It's not like one pedal though. So we're just hitting some of these turns now and just enjoying this beautiful road. Actually, the one thing you hear a lot of is the bugs smacking the windshield. Sorry, bugs. You're in my way. So we've been driving the last 10 miles and pretty much have not lost any battery. We've gone from about 68% to 70%, back to 68, and we just finally hit 67%. We were literally just going up and down these turns and mountains, and overall we lost elevation, which is why we didn't lose any percentage on the battery. But it was so much fun being able to cut some corners and everything without even touching the brake pedal, and just using that regen of the brakes to, you know, go through these beautiful, beautiful mountains here. So a lot of fun. Here we are coming up on a nice turn here. Downhill. Just get off the accelerator a little bit, regen a little bit back into the pack. Watch out for the branches sticking out. A lot of fallen trees here. There we go, look at that. Really enjoying this road. We still got 43 miles till we get to our destination. I don't know if it's all this road, but it definitely seems like it. But we're still having a ton of fun.
All right, made it to the hotel. 52% state of charge left, so no problems there. 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour is what we averaged over that 90-mile trip. That is fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and get inside and get checked in and everything, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, well, we made it to Pigeon Forge, got checked into the hotel. Everything looks great. We're just going out right now to get some dinner. We stopped at the outlets to grab a charge point, charge up real quick, and then we're going to get some dinner across the way and walk around the outlets. But we have a lot more coming. The road trip going back. I'm even going to do a video about everything we do here as well, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Don't forget to check us out on our website, techmotoring.com, on Twitter @techmotoring, facebook.com/techmotoring. Remember, welcome to the future and welcome to Tech Motoring. What you going to say? Welcome to the future.
And welcome to Tech Motoring.
There we go. We'll see you on the next episode.